Hi, friends. I'm Father Kerry Walters, pastor of Holy Spirit American National Catholic Church, and this is another Holy Spirit moment. I was at a gas station the other day filling up. I was wearing a clerical collar, and the guy next to me, who was also filling up his car, happened to notice it and quickly began with me a conversation about religion. It became pretty clear pretty quickly that he was a rather militant atheist. And at one point in the conversation, he said to me, "You know, the only reason you believe in God is because you want there to be a God. All God belief is nothing more," he said, "than wishful thinking." Now, this is a species of argument that I have heard so many times in the past, and I will bet it's an argument that you too are pretty familiar with. It's common. It's got a very sophisticated pedigree. It actually was enunciated by the psychologist Sigmund Freud at the beginning of the 20th century in a little book entitled The Future of an Illusion. The illusion in the title referred to religion and religious belief. It's interesting how this argument has trickled down to be as commonly heard as it is, even by people who have no idea of its origin. This is what Sigmund Freud says in The Future of an Illusion. He says that one of the primary motivations for human beings is fear. You and I especially fear three things. We fear nature because experience teaches us how easy it is for nature to kill us, ranging from cataclysmic natural disasters to invisible microbes. We fear one another because experience likewise tells us how mean we can be to one another, how greedy and rapacious our neighbors can be, and how greedy and rapacious we ourselves can be. But the mother of all fears, the greatest fear, the fear that underlies all other fears, according to Freud, is the third one. It's death fear. We're haunted by the realization that one day we will cease to live in a world that we acknowledge is dangerous, but which we nonetheless crave to remain in. Well, how do we cope with these fears? What's the defense mechanism that we use against them? Freud says that we have a model from childhood. Whenever we were children and we became frightened, the ghost under the bed, the goblin in the closet, we would run to mommy or daddy, and they would take us in their arms and comfort us, reassuring us that everything is going to be okay. When we become adults, says Freud, we need that kind of comfort when we fear the three big fears: others, nature, and death. We know that our biological parents can't protect us anymore from those three big fears, and so what do? Well, we imagine, we invent a godparent, a celestial mommy or daddy in the sky who can protect us. Of course, we're not aware that this is an invention, but we accept it as real because it serves as a defense mechanism against the fears that otherwise would make our life unbearable. Freud would agree with my guy at the service station then that God belief is wishful thinking. And he would go further, just as the guy at the service station wanted to do but didn't quite do. Freud would say that any belief which is based upon wishful thinking is false, and therefore belief in God is false. Freud goes so far as to say that belief in God is not only false, but it's psychologically pernicious. He actually calls God belief an obsessive infantile neurosis. It's obsessive because those of us who believe in God simply will not give up the belief, irregardless of the evidence that others can amass against it. It's infantile because the belief harkens back to our adolescent and young days when we needed mommy and daddy to comfort us. And it is a neurosis, says Freud, because the definition of a neurosis is believing in something that there is no evidence for, believing in something against the odds. Freud thinks that we would be much better off jettisoning religion and our reliance upon it, and recognizing that science is a much better worldview that science is able to offer us some comfort against the three horrible fears that we human beings are haunted by. And certainly some relief is better than the pseudo or faux relief that religion can give us. Now, this is a compelling argument in at least one way. I think that Freud has done a good job in pointing out that there are many motivations that lie behind God belief. Some of them are stronger than others. Some of them are rather shameful. Perhaps many of us do believe in God because we're terrified of dying, and so we cling to the hope that there exists a God who will allow us to continue after the physical body dies. Or perhaps we believe in God out of a sense of anger at others, and we're looking forward to a policeman God punishing them for what we consider to be their transgressions. There are all kinds of motives for believing in God, but here's the thing. Simply saying that in no way falsifies the possibility that God actually exists. What Freud has done and what my guy at the service station did is to provide us with a psychological account of some of the reasons for believing in God, some of the psychological causes for believing in God, but what they haven't done is to provide us with any argument whatsoever that falsifies belief in God. You and I know that we can believe in many true things for pretty bad reasons. We human beings don't like to think analytically. We tend to be intellectually lazy, and so we will accept as true statements that we really haven't paused to examine as carefully as we can. But it just also happens that many of those statements which we do accept as true actually are true, regardless of the fact that we believe them for shoddy reasons. So my friends, whenever anyone tells you that the only reason you believe in God is because you want there to be a God, or whenever anyone tries to tell you that God belief is nothing more than wishful thinking, I believe that a perfectly reasonable response is, well, yeah, I probably do want to believe in God, and I probably do wish that there were a God, but neither of these psychological motives in any way falsify the claim that God exists. I'm Father Kerry Walters, and this has been another Holy Spirit moment. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.